Well, firstly, I think lobbying is a perfectly legitimate activity in a democracy. It's needed in a democracy. If you're a business interest, if you're a charity interest, if you're a trade union, you may come into contact with Parliament just once in a blue moon when there's a big issue. Perfectly legitimate to get professional advice on how to put your best foot forward, how to put your case best to those in power. Since I've been MP, you're aware of lobbyists coming to talk to you on different issues, and there's a couple of incidents that got me thinking about how it works. Once was at a party conference. I went to a dinner by a particular interest. There's no point naming names or whatever, but I was lobbied by a particular interest at a dinner here. 2 or 3 weeks later, the same people, the same firm who were lobbying me, were taking in a group of people to lobby for exactly the opposite interest, to meet the Prime Minister. And so I thought, you know, how does this work? Equally, someone came to lobby me about a wind farm, and I discovered that in fact they were working not for the wind farm, but for the merchant bank who were backing the wind farm. There's nothing wrong with working for the merchant bank who was backing the wind farm, but it would have been nice of them to tell me. So I got thinking about the lobbying industry and discovered, obviously, the self-regulatory nature of what goes on at the moment. That dates back, I haven't got time to give you the history of it, but that dates back to the 90s. I think it's been an enormous improvement, actually. I think, and others will speak about the APPC and the PRCA, the two self-regulatory bodies. You can almost tell whether someone who comes to see you is a member of those bodies by their demeanour, by the fact of putting information before you. I don't think it's over romantic. I think there is a difference between the staff induction that people have to go through. And so I think they have improved a lot particularly the cash for questions and all that went on in the 1990s. But I saw that a good third of the industry is not in that self-regulation. And basically the principles of that self-regulation is you don't pay MPs and peers. I think it's a disgrace that people, directors and work for lobbying firms, they have the same vote on legislation as me, and yet they work for maybe 50 clients, or their company works for 50 clients. How do I know why they're voting the way they're doing? And secondly, they've got to declare all their clients. And that seems to me fundamental that they do that. And I just thought it would be very simple if people followed what firstly it was one of the housing organisations in London did, then Ken Livingstone did it, now the Met Office are doing it, and they're insisting that if they let a public affairs contract, that it only goes to firms, not who are members of the APPC or members of the PRCA, but can demonstrate that they adhere to the ethical codes, those two principles. And I think that would make perhaps a small difference, but that would make an important difference. And one thing I would finish on, I think for the Alliance going forward, it all depends on what the Public Administration Committee report say. But I think there's a real job for the Alliance in looking at those firms who particularly don't sign up to either of these codes and focusing on different firms, because you can encourage them to become better if you put focus on them.
Thank you so much.